Next, Kelly. Kelly Walker is a sophomore in the School of International Studies, International Affairs and Commerce, Asian Studies, and Chinese concentration are all areas that he studied. His host organization is Friends of Hue in Vietnam, and his internship focus was documentary filming of Friends of Hue Orphanage, health, microfinance and disaster relief programs, and sustainability strategy development. Next, Patrick. Patrick Walton is coming up. He's a senior in the College of the Pacific, majoring in political science. His host organization is the Catalysis Central American Microfinance Network in Honduras. His internship focus, funding, proposal development, youth entrepreneurship research, and evaluation. And then Fatima Iqbal. She's a third year at McGeorge Law School. She's pursuing her Doctor of Jurisprudence, JD, and International Legal Studies certificate. Her host organization was the Women's Global Empowerment Fund in Gulu, Uganda. Her internship focus, microfinance, client outreach, and evaluation. All right, let me get my notes, and I'm going to sit down and join these incredible young people. Test. Yes, it's working. So I'll start with a question to you, Fatima. So why don't you give us a brief description about the organization that you were working with and its mission?
The organization that I was working with is a microfinance organization, and its mission, as you can infer from its name, was to empower women in northern Uganda. A little history about northern Uganda, and it's a post-conflict area that has been suffering from the consequences of war with the Lord's rebels army. And many of these women are looking for ways, as Paul has mentioned, to build capacities to sustain themselves.
Great. I know we all, I'm going to move on. It's very hard because I could talk to her for 20 minutes. Okay, so Kelly, tell us about social entrepreneurship. Is really about applying business management skills to tackle chronic societal problems with sustainable solutions. So tell us about the organization that you're with and what type of sustainable business model they're encouraging to help address societal problems.
All right. So I was working with the Friends of Hue Foundation in Hue, Vietnam, which is a city pretty much in the dead middle. And the organization itself is funded by investors in San Jose, and they run an orphanage. They fund microfinance, which is giving small loans to people in the community in and around Hue to support business ventures. They also supported a mobile clinic, so they have doctors from Saigon and Hanoi come in and help the farming community from the outside of Hue. And they also they have a few other offshoots, but those are the three big ones. While I was there, my main task was to film a documentary, which they could use back here, both to stimulate investment and also to just educate people about that area. It's not very well known throughout the world. But I also worked with a guy from Berkeley, another intern, and together we worked on a feasibility study. So we went around and we found that one of the best businesses that could be used in this particular area of Hue was an ice cream shop. So I think, you know, that alone is pretty much the business venture and the kind of total scope of social entrepreneurship. We brought in our skills and specialties, which, I mean, I study a little bit of business here at Pacific, and we applied them to what we were doing in the orphanage and found, okay, with the demand there and with the lack of supply of, you know, high quality ice cream, we can open up a shop that will hopefully within 5 or 6 years, it will support the majority of the funds needed in the orphanage. And yeah.
Excellent. Okay, Patrick, your turn. So now, tell us a little bit about the business model in your organization and what you saw as the biggest challenge in actually that business model being sustainably adopted.
Well, first of all, I worked for the Catalysis Network in Tegucigalpa, Honduras. And as a network, we were a network of microfinance organizations in Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador. And basically, our job, our mission as a network was to bring the very cutting edge and innovative ideas, programs, technologies to our organizations. So as far as our model goes, we encourage our organizations to become sustainable because it's absolutely necessary for organizations to kind of have their own dignity and their own ability to be autonomous. And so basically the network would find partnerships with people here. I know some of the very same vendors that sent us to all these wonderful places actually invested in a guarantee fund, which was basically to mediate risk on youth. So our organizations wouldn't mind taking a risk to loan to the youth of Central America. So.
Jocelyn. So tell us a bit about the business model that you saw at your organization, and then if you saw that business model might have been more successful or less successful with certain type of people adopting that business model.
So I did my internship with the Montgomery Institute. I was a teacher there as well. I called a leadership course while I was there. And basically it serves to educate disadvantaged youth in South Africa who have come from mostly the townships, sometimes the supers, where they take out a study loan and they basically work it off at school through these self-sustaining business practices within the school. So for example, there's the Stepping Stones program. They have a data capture program in there, and they partnered with this School for You, and they take forms that have been filled in by hand and type them into a computer. So for each form that the student completes into the computer, they get $1 rand, and then the school gets 10 rand back. So they work off that loan. They still make a little bit of money to support themselves when they're going through school. Another thing that the school is doing is they're opening up a call center. So instead of having calls routed through India or through the Middle East, they're trying to route them through South Africa for South African businesses. And their hopes are that they will get enough major industries, like Compound Sario and a couple of other computer companies, to buy these seats that they'll be able to have enough capital to eventually self-sustain the school.
So did you see that? Do you see any particular models where that could be translated more successfully or less successfully?
I think that they're doing a great job of being sustainable. Foundation Martine Birds is actually the model that they're working off of. Fundación Paraguay, that's the model that they're following. And Teddy Fletcher, who is the CEO of the Montgomery Institute, is actually a very good friend of Martine Birds. So they work in very close collaboration on all similar things.